Hello, fictional. Welcome to the crossover What Ifs. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto got neglected by his parents and builds his own empire in galaxy? Part 1. Huge shout out to FANWRITER 10101 for this story. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Naruto gritted his teeth. It was always like this. They always favored his twin brother over him, even though he was the eldest born by a few minutes. You see, 12 years ago, the nine-tailed fox known as Kyuubi no Yauko. His father, the Yondaime, confronted the fox, which had escaped from the seal. The fox was unkillable as it was only just a mass over chakra, so he did the next big thing, seal it inside someone. His choice was Menma, his own son and the twin of Naruto. After the sealing, Menma was declared a hero and him. He was forgotten. It was even worse that he was unable to use chakra. He had the coils and mind you they were massive, however he could not use them. It was because of that very reason his parents didn't train him or even give him the attention his twin was showered with. Even after seeing the skills of one Rock Lee, they still wouldn't train him. At least I am not a pompous bastard. He thought as he sighed. If there was one thing he learned and it was humility. His twin was too arrogant, believing himself to be some kind of god. Because of this neglect, Naruto had little friends, well two really. The first was Hinata Hyuga. She was kind, shy and very forgiving. Both of them really had so much in common. She was treated as the failed child of the clan head and he was forgotten. They had met 2 years ago and some might say they were more than friends. The next person was Satel Shan. She was an orphan that he had met almost after he had met Hinata. Satel was an orphan and was pretty much neglected as well, since she could not use chakra as well. Her chakra system was so small that it only allowed her to live. However, if there was one thing all three of them hated was the Leaf Village and the Shinobi system as a whole. The system is what caused their neglect. Their hate only grew as time went on and unknown to them, they had attracted the attention of a Sith Lord. In space. High above the sky and beyond the moon, a massive vessel floated. Standing in the viewport was a figure dressed in black cloths with some kind of controls on his chest plate and a mask that allowed him to breathe. He had a black cape and he gave off a powerful aura. This was Darth Vader. Lord Vader, we have arrived at the given coordinates. An officer reported. Ready as shuttle, Commander. Vader ordered. The commander nodded and went off to get the shuttle ready. He did not want to earn Vader's wrath. Vader, however, was lost in his thoughts. The Force brought me here. I sense two powerful Force beings on that planet. The dark side of the Force is strong with them. Vader thought. He wasn't a fool. Vader knew that the Empire would never last. The rebels would win eventually, it was inevitable. However, the Force had called him and he would follow the Force. Lord Vader, your shuttle is ready. The commander reported. Turning around, Vader made his way to the shuttle in the hangar. On the planet. Naruto walked through the Forest of Death. The Forest of Death was quite deadly, more so now since it was night. It was the only place he could really meet his friends without letting the whole village know that the failed Hokage's son had friends. He did not want his friends to attract the same hate as he did. You can come out now. Naruto said and two girls emerged from the bushes. They were Hinata and Satel. How did you know we were already here? Satel asked with a raised eyebrow. Hinata too wondered how he had noticed them. You guys were making too much noise, it wasn't hard really. Naruto answered. The two girls blushed in embracement. It was quite embracing to be so easily caught. Anyways, so how was your day? Naruto asked the two. For the next half an hour the three talked and joked and sometimes even conspired. So lost in their talks, they did not see a flying object descend nearby, nor did they notice one of the many deadly animals of the forest. The lion-like animal eyed its new prey for the night. It growled as it walked the foliage that hid it. The three became aware of the animal and jumped up in surprise and slowly started to back away. Naruto was in front while the girls were behind him. They had no training, even Hinata, who was a clan heir, had no proper training given to her. You two have to run, I'll distract it. Naruto whispered to the two. What, no way we are leaving you here. Satel protested and Hinata nodded. See the animal come closer and closer and then it jumped at them. They closed their eyes and waited for the end. However, the end never came. They slowly opened their eyes to find the lion-like animal floating above ground and appeared to be choking, then its neck snapped and it fell down. Wondering what just happened, they started to hear someone breathing, though it seemed dated. They turned their heads to the source to find a figure clad in black armor and clothing, with a black cape and mask. The figure looked at them before it walked up to them. I sense much power from you two. The figure said, eyeing Naruto and Satel. Who are you? Naruto asked caustically. I am Darth Vader. Vader replied. He delved deeper into the three's feelings and found much hate, much more than he ever had, though the other girl lacked the force, but she still had great hate hidden inside of her. The force is strong with you too. Vader said, confusing the three. What was this force this man spoke of? Tell me. Do you hate this village? Vader asked as he started to delve deeper into their feelings. He could see the anger rising in all of them. Yes. Naruto said as he balled his fists. For a brief moment his eyes flashed a sulfuric yellow, but it was enough for Vader to see it. This boy was strong with a dark side. Join me and you shall receive the training and resource to destroy all those who have wronged you. Vader offered. He needed other Sith Lords to carry on his legacy. He needed other Sith Lords to bring balance to the Force. Naruto thought about the man's offer. He had nothing in this village, his so-called family didn't even care about him other than Hinata and Satel did he cared about. Looking back at the two he could see them thinking as well. I am going to join him, what about you two? Naruto asked the two. Satel smirked. Count me in. She answered. Me too. Hinata said as well. Naruto looked at Vader and smirked. Fine, we will join you. He answered. Then from now on, you will call me your master. Vader said as he expelled his aura. Naruto and the others' eyes widened. What was this power? It was so much stronger than chakra. All three of them went down on one knee. Yes, my master. The three said in union. Vader nodded before he led them to a shuttle, which then took off. They would not be seen for quite a while. As the shuttle left the atmosphere of the planet, Vader turned to them. I want to know your names. Vader stated. Name is Naruto. Naruto introduced himself, followed by Hinata and Satel. Vader nodded and started to assess their strengths, but not before explaining them what the Force is. The three were amazed. The Force was everywhere, though out the whole galaxy. It was far bigger than what chakra was. Naruto, Satel, you both are very strong with the Force. I will need to have your midichlorian count tested. Hinata, you have a good amount of Force, however it is not enough to qualify you as Force sensitive. However that does not matter, in the galaxy there are warriors known as bounty hunters. They are very capable and can even go toe-to-toe with Force-sensitive beings. I know some that can train you into the finest of the warriors with you so-called chakra abilities. Vader said, in his mind he made sure you call up on Boba Fett and an old face from the bounty hunter world, Cad Bane. Hinata got depressed that she could not use the Force, but brightened up knowing that she could still be a formidable warrior even without it. On board Vader's flagship. The shuttle landed in Vader's flagship, the Super Star Destroyer. As the ramp lowered, Vader walked out of the shuttle to be greeted by rows of clone troopers. As he walked, Naruto, Hinata and Satel walked behind him. They were a bit awed by the sight of so many soldiers, the technology and other things they had never seen before. Their planet was quite primitive compared to what Vader had told them. He had also told them that their planet was located in the unknown region. After getting them three settled, in the same room I might add. Vader led Naruto and Satel down to the medical bay to get their midichlorian count tested. Hinata had tagged along. He waited as the medical droid took blood samples from both Naruto and Satel to find their count. Lord Vader, here is the results of the test. The droid said as he handed him the data pad. What Vader saw shocked him. He looked up at the two, who looked at him confused. Impressive, Satel, you have a midichlorian count of 35,000, while you Naruto have a count of 40,000. Most impressive. Vader said. The two cheered for having such a high count, but Vader was thinking about something else. Their count is higher than mine or the Emperor's. Indeed, these two will go far, and with that other girl, they might be an unbreakable team. Vader thought. He would train them to the best of his abilities, and he shall give them his clone armies, including the 501st when the Empire was defeated and he had died. He could do that, he had the power and the influence to do that. For now, he would have to train them here, in the unknown region of the galaxy, because if the Emperor ever got wind of them, then he would surely have them killed. The Empire wasn't going to last long anyways. The rebellion was grouping, it won't be long before the rebellion openly fought the Empire. Follow me, we must begin your training. Vader said, leading them out of the medical bay and to a training room. Things were about to get a lot more interesting. 3 years later. The battle was raging on above Endor. It was the final battle against the Empire, and it was also the most important battle. The rebels had found the second Death Star and had launched an attack on it after the planter shields on Endor were destroyed. At first they were winning and they were going very well, that is until when the Emperor's fleet showed up and started to attack their rear. The Rebel Alliance admirals had realized that it was a trap, however they were nervous because Vader's fleet was nowhere in sight, but he was confirmed to be on the Death Star. Admiral, more Imperial ships are jumping out of hyperspace behind the Emperor's fleet. An officer reported to Admiral Akbar, who was now very nervous. Another Imperial fleet had entered the fray. Get me a visual. The Admiral ordered, and soon they had a visual of the new fleet, and needless to say, the Admiral gasped. The new fleet consisted of two Bellator-class dreadnought and Vader's flagship, the Executor-class Star Dreadnought. Alongside the massive ships were hundreds of Imperial light cruisers, about 5 dozen Imperial second-class star destroyers, and about 5 Praetor Mark II class battlecruisers. All in all, the fleet was massive in size, scope and firepower. Admiral Akbar, you must call a retreat. There is no way we can withstand that kind of firepower. An officer suggested. No. We must keep up the assault. The Death Star must be destroyed. Another officer shouted. The Darth Star had destroyed one of their ships with its death ray, it was vital that they destroy it. As the officers shouted at each other, the admiral only looked at the new fleet, something wasn't right here. The new Imperial fleet's colors were different. Rather than the common gray, these ships were a mix of orange and red. On board, that executor class. On board the ship's bridge, the officers all worked in the trench below, while at the viewport stood a single figure. The figure had on a brownish cloak, with a hood on. However, you could still tell that the figure's armor was the likes of Mandalorian armor, even the mask was Mandalorian, just think like Darth Raven's mask. Sir, all Imperial ships have been locked on. An officer reported. Good, you may fire when ready. The figure, who sounded like a man, ordered. The officer nodded and ordered all ships to open fire. The Emperor's fleet. Sir, we are under attack from a Imperial fleet. A clone reported as the ship shook. Have you gone mad? The commander asked. The clone shook his head and the commander looked outside the viewport, they were indeed under attack from one of their own fleet. Hail that fleet. Tell them to cease fire. The commander ordered and as much as they tried, they could not hail the Imperial fleet. The Emperor's fleet didn't even stand a chance as they were overpowered quite easily. With the rebels. The entire Rebel Alliance fleet was in shock. An Imperial fleet and just opened fire and destroyed one of their own fleet. What the hell was going on? Admiral, one of the Imperial ships is hailing us. Should I patch them through? An officer asked. The admiral nodded and soon the same figure appeared via hologram. Take this chance and destroy the Death Star, another Imperial fleet won't be here in the next 4 hours. The figure said as he was about to cut the message. Wait. Who are you? Admiral Akbar asked. The figure stopped. You don't need to know that, all you need to know is that the Sith will be no more. The figure said as he cut the channel and the unknown fleet fled via light speed. I don't know who you are, but may the force be with you. Akbar thought. He might not know who that man was, but he did save the lives of his, Akbar, comrades. A few minutes later the Death Star blew up and the rebels rejoiced in their victory, however this story will not take place in the galaxy, but rather in a galaxy far far away. Sir, we are dropping out of hyperspace. An officer reported to his commander. Good, ready a shuttle. The commander ordered. When the fleet dropped out of hyperspace, they were greeted by the sight of a massive space station that was hovering over a sun. At the bottom of the space station, the sun's energy was being sucked in. This was the Star Forge. I still can't believe that something of that size survived the fall of the Infinite Empire. A new voice spoke. It was made by the Rakuten and Rakuten were called the builders for a reason, anyways, any news from the plant, Hinata? The commander turned to the voice, which revealed to be Hinata. She had grown quite a bit over the 3 years and was a deadly bounty hunter. She wore the elite Mandalorian armor. The armor was in the colors of black, with red markings. It was a gift from her mentor Boba Fett. War seems to be on the horizon, and the tailed beasts are the key to winning the war. She reported. Their war is irreverent and so are the tailed beasts. The commander spoke. Right, so what's our next move Naruto-kun? Hinata asked the now reveled Naruto. We wait for Satel to arrive. She is on the way with the second fleet, along with the Sith warriors we have gathered during the 3 years. Naruto answered. During the 3 years, the 3 of them had improved much. Naruto and Satel more so since they got used their block chakra now, however the most interesting thing they found was that their chakra was affecting the midichlorian. Chakra reserves grew over time or training, however, due to their chakra being blocked up for almost 13 years, the reserves were unnatural massive, as such the body could not contain all that chakra when it was all released, like a dam that held the water back. That is where the midichlorian came in. The small microscopic life forms used that chakra energy to make more midichlorian, and they still do, because of the massive chakra reserves. If the midichlorian would stop, then both Naruto and Satel would overload from all the stored up chakra. Their bodies just can't handle, so they can dispel the chakra or let their midichlorian count to just keep rising. They had already reached 60,000 and it was still growing. In fact, because of such a high count, they are able to use their force far more effectively than others and could even find forcer users throughout the galaxy. They did not need the force of this galaxy because their bodies, in sense, had created force generators. So I guess you want me to keep observing the leaf? Hinata asked. Naruto nodded. Yes, keep observing them. Our forces are almost ready. The Star Forge has already made millions of droids. Naruto ordered reported. Do we really need droids? Hinata asked. Naruto just chuckled. Don't worry, these droids are not as dumb as the Trade Federations. Those were cheap and had basic programming. These are not cheap because the Starforge really only needs a star to feast on in order to keep producing, and they have the best programming, again, thanks to the Starforge. Naruto reasoned. Right, just be careful, okay? I'll see you soon. Hinata said as her figure disappeared, which was in fact a hologram. Sir, the second fleet has just entered the system. The same officer reported. Good, I'll be heading to the Starforge. Naruto said as he went down the hangar and boarded the shuttle. As he was heading to the massive space factory, he started to look through other documents. They had found a few Rouge Caminans that had managed to escape the Camino uprising that took place in 12 BBY. The uprising was brutally put down by the Emperor, and all the Rouge Caminans were put down as well. A few escaped with the knowledge of cloning and the template of Jango Fett. Naruto had found them and had asked them to join him and his group. The group of Caminans was hesitant at first. Naruto was a Sith, the enemy they had raised an army to defeat back in the uprising, however Naruto was a different kind of Sith, only brutal to those who deserved his wrath and kind to his subordinates and those who were close to him. Joining him allowed the Kaminan group to create me and better clone troopers in a short amount of time. The few 50,000 clones could be produced every 2 years from just one cloning facility. They had 2 facilities, both were massive space stations, and both were made by the Starforge. Speaking of the Starforge, they had found it floating aimless in the unknown region of the galaxy. The Starforge had survived somehow, but had lost connection to the dark side. That was good since he didn't want others being corrupted by it, but it was also in state of decay. The station at first looked like it was about to fall apart, but through repairs, they were able to bring it back online and better than before. The massive space station was truly a work of engineering. They could made fleets, armies of droids and at no cost, other than sucking the life of a star, but there were billions of stars in the galaxy. He had applied some seals to prevent the Starforge to feed off of the dark side of the Force like it did in the past. During his time training and traveling the galaxy with Sattel and Hinata, they had found the tomb of Darth Raven. When the ghost appeared before them, it studied the three. Raven was known as one of the best Jedi and Sith to have ever lived. Raven didn't have much to offer other than wisdom and teaching them something. He was able to however jumpstart Hinata's connection to the Force. It wasn't a strong one, but it allowed her to use some Force attacks. One Force power they had all earned was Force Drain. This powerful ability allowed them to drain the life of an organic target and transfer it to themselves. This would allow them to be virtually immortals as they could steal the life of some living create. The shuttle landed and exited the shuttle and headed to the command room. Give me a production update. Naruto ordered. An officer came up with a data pad. Sir, we have 100 Dreadnought-class heavy cruisers, 6 Enforcer-class cruisers, several logistics vessels, along with fighters, bombers and droids. The officer reported. Naruto thanked him and sent on to add a few more new designs in the command computer. Designs such as the Imperial-class Star Destroyer armed with the same super laser that the Death Stars was armed with. He would only allow 2 of these ships to be produced. He did not need planet destroying, but you can never be too sure. I see you are hard at work. He heard someone say behind him. Turning around, he spotted Sattel. She too had grown quite a bit like Hinata during the past 3 years. Her clothing would confuse others into thinking that she was a Jedi, but quite the opposite, she was a Sith, just like him. Someone has to do the work, might as well be me. Naruto said with a chuckle as Sattel approached him and gave him a kiss. You know Hinata would be pretty pissed right about now. Naruto asked. I know, but she isn't here. Is she? Sattel asked as she looked around. I am right here. Hinata said as a hologram of her appeared out of nowhere. Oh. Hinata, how are you doing? Sattel asked with a nervous smile as Hinata narrowed her eyes before sighing. I am doing just fine. Naruto, I just got report that Leaf Village is about to be attacked by an organization called Akatsuki. For now they are at their headquarters located in Omegacore. If I may suggest, just use an orbital bombardment and kill them all in one go, they won't have the time to react. Hinata suggested. Naruto had kept tabs on this organization for a while, and they were losing members. It was time to finish them. Very well, our forces are here anyways. While Omegacore is being bombarded, we shall launch our invasion of the elemental invasion. Take all artifacts, kill everyone. We 3 shall be the only chakra users in this galaxy. Naruto said. They were going to destroy their own home planet, they felt no remorse. The Shinobi way had only caused needless violence, and they could not afford chakra to reach other worlds. New wars would rise, more bloodshed and the galaxy would be on the path to war once again. It might not be as strong as the Force, but it was very easy to learn, control and use. It would be even worse if they learned the Force and used chakra along with it. He could not allow such a threat to remain in the galaxy. Order all ships to prepare for the invasion, Operation Annihilation is a go. Naruto ordered to all fleets. As soon he had given the order, the vessels quickly started to maneuver to their places. Hangar bays were filled with pilots, soldiers, engineers. Starfighters were being launched, along with transport, and a few star destroyers were starting to converge over the planet to assist in the invasion. The Executor class was taking its place over the Hidden Rain village. "Shall we go then?" Naruto asked Satel, who smirked at him and started to head to the hangar while swaying her hips. Naruto however just chuckled as he shook his head. "These girls will be the death of me, I tell ya," he thought as he too started to head to the hangar bay. He and Satel would be the first to land on their planet. But Konoha. Things weren't looking good for Konoha. The Akatsuki were getting more and more aggressive, and from what the spies were saying, the Akatsuki was heading to Konoha soon. The Hokage's family however had many problems of their own. The first being was the disappearance of their eldest son, Naruto, 3 years ago. They tried to find him along with Hinata Hyuga and Satel Shan, both went missing the same day. Next was their youngest son, Menma. He was arrogant and spoiled as much as the Uchiha, a fact that his parents realized too late. The problem didn't end there. Apparently Menma had knocked up a girl named Sakura during a mission, and behold. She was pregnant with his child and only had about 2 months before delivery. Menma, despite the mistake, was a happy young man, however no one would know that all that happiness would come crashing down today. The village gate guards were doing what they usually did, kept the gate guarded. "Man, this has got to be the most boring job in the whole village," Izumo said as he yawned. "You got that right. Man, I really wish something would happen today," Kotetsu said, "but you what they say, be careful what you wish for." As they kept watch, 2 figures appeared to be walking down the path towards the village. "Hey, Kotetsu, someone's coming," Izumo said. I'll check their papers," Kotetsu said as he waved his hand. Looks like it was going to be another normal day. As the 2 figures neared the gate, Kotetsu walked up to them. "Excuse, but many we see you papers." It's just standard, however Kotetsu never got to finish as he was bisected by a strange sword that hissed. "Kotetsu?" Izumo said as he tried to react, but he felt an invisible force shocking him and slowly starting to lift him up. He tried to use his hand to make the invisible force to let him go, but it didn't do anything. He looked at the 2 people and noticed one of them had his hand raised up and was slowly closing it. He tried to send a single to the Ambu, but the moment he tried his neck was snapped. "Sleep tight," the figure said. "Did you have to be so dramatic, Naruto?" the female asked. "Wouldn't be fun if I wasn't, besides, you were all for it to Satel," Naruto replied. Satel looked away with a blush, though her mask covered it. "Whatever, let's just get this over with, I want to see other galaxies," she said. Naruto just nodded. It's about time they had their vengeance. As Naruto and Satel walked through the streets of Konoha, they noticed that the village was in a state of alert. With the news of Akatsuki coming here for an attack, the people were panicking and being relocated to the shelters. Just then they felt deep hatred, and whoever this deep hatred belonged to also had a very power connection to the Force, the dark side of the Force. Naruto, Satel whispered. "I know the troops know what to do if they find Force-sensitive beings," Naruto whispered back. Nodding, both of them continued to their destination, the Hokage's residences. They noticed how Anbu were rushing to the front of the village. "It seems like they found the dead bodies," Naruto whispered. Satel nodded. It took them 20 minutes to discover that the gate guards were dead. "They seem to be getting lazy," Satel whispered back. Naruto nodded. As they kept walking, they finally found their target. "It seems like lazy aren't the only thing they had become," Naruto said as he inspected the Namikaze family's house. It was unguarded and only had a few seals in place to defend it. Using alchemy, Naruto quickly disabled the seals, and both of them entered the house. Sith alchemy was far more effective compared to seals. "You go and start collection all artifacts, I'll prepare another spell," Naruto ordered Satel. Nodding, she went ahead and started to search the house for all artifacts regarding ninjas. For the next one they had ransacked the house of all artifacts and valuables. Now they waited. They heard the door open and 2 people walked in as they talked. The first was a pink-haired girl, while the other was Naruto's twin, Menma. The only difference in the 2 was that Menma had red hair compared to Naruto's blonde. "About time to both joined us," Naruto said as he walked into the living room. Seeing that there was an intruder in his house, Menma quickly jumped back with Sakura and pulled out a sword. "Who are you?" Menma shouted. He didn't know who this guy was, but he was not about to let some random fool enter his clan's home. "You don't remember me? I am hurt," Naruto mocked as he held his heart. "Cut the crap, who are you?" Menma said as his eyes started to turning red. Seeing this, Naruto stopped. "Now, let's not get the nine-tailed involved," Naruto said as he snapped his fingers, and just like that Menma fell to the ground. What did you do to me?" Menma asked as he clutched his stomach. "What did I do? I simply prevented you from using the Nine Tails chakra," Naruto answered. He dodged a punch aimed for his face by Sakura. "Let him go," Sakura said. Despite being pregnant, she could still fight, however just as she was about to attack again, she was grabbed by an invisible force that kept her in place. "Off all the girls, you chose to knock up the fangirl. I am disappointed in you, Menma, you could have done better than this, like I did," Naruto said as he pointed at Sakura, who was trying to get herself free. As soon as he said that, Satel walked out. "Everything has been secured," she told Naruto. "Good, I just have to finish up some trash here," Naruto said. "Who are you?" Menma asked as he tried to get up but was failing horribly. His future wife was in danger, along with his soon-to-be-born child. "Look at you, this is what happens when you relay too much on a tailed beast chakra. You can't even get up." "As for whom I am," Naruto said as he brought his hand up to his mask and slowly pulled it off. Menma's eyes slowly widened. "Naruto?" Menma asked. Unsure if his twin was standing before him. "Will you look at that, he remembers me, now then time to finish this," Naruto said as he turned toward Sakura and unleashed force lighting into her. However, his force lighting was far deadly than the average Sith's. Sakura screamed in pain as she felt the lighting enter her body. "Stop. Please. Stop this. She hasn't done anything," Menma begged as he tried to get up. "Wrong, she is to be your wife and is carrying your child, that enough is warrant to make her my enemy. Now then, Menma, feel the pain, sadness and hate, the very emotions that I felt when I still lived in this village. Does this make you want to kill me or make you hate me?" Naruto asked as he kept electrocuting Sakura. "Stop please," Menma said as tears started to go down his cheek. Seeing this, Naruto stopped electrocuting Sakura and slowly brought her down to his downed twin. Menma seeing this smiled. "Thank you," Menma said as he reached for her. "Menma," Sakura muttered as she reached for him. "It's going to be alright, you're going to be safe now," Menma said as he reached for her, however as he was about to take her hand, she was pulled back and he impaled into Naruto's white-colored lightsaber, right through the stomach. Seems like my hand slipped," Naruto said with a sinister chuckle. He was going to make his brother feel the anger, the hate, the pain that he had felt for a long time. He will make his family suffer. He took great pleasure, Menma's shocked face, and tears rolled down his cheeks. "Sakura," Menma whispered. Naruto slowly started to walk up to him with his lightsaber at the ready. "Does it hurt, Menma? Do you hate me?" "No," Naruto said as he delved into his brother's feelings, and sure enough, hate and fear started to rise. He chuckled as he reached him. "Good, because now you will die knowing that you could not avenge your future wife and child," Naruto said as he brought his saber down and decapitated him. He saw that the Nine Tails tried to escape, but he would not let it. Using the force, he kept the QB in place. "Now then, QB, let us feed on your life force," Naruto said as him and Satel started to drain the QB's life force away. They were also sending it to Hinata though the force. They could hear the QB roar in defiance as its life force was being drained, and just like that he stopped. The QB was no more. "That should keep us alive for the next 1,000 years," Satel joked as she chuckled. The QB had a long life force. However, before Naruto could speak, they were forced to dodge Golden Chain. And it looks like my mother has come to save Menma, too bad she's too late," Naruto said while laughing. Kushina, however, was shocked as she looked at her son, Menma, dead on the ground with his head severed, and her future daughter-in-law also dead on the ground. She looked at their killers and was shocked to see Naruto, though she couldn't tell who the other one was. "Naruto, did you kill your own brother?" Kushina asked, fearing for the answer. "Why yes, mother, I did kill my dear brother," Naruto answered while spitting the words mother and brother. Kushina trembled. Her own son and killed the other, but was Naruto even her son anymore? She didn't care about him and now he went down this insane path. "You're no son of mine," Kushina said as tears went down her cheeks. She was about to attack, however she froze because of the oppressive feeling. Looking at Naruto, whose eyes were covered by his hair, she could see the hatred he gave off. Just then he started laughing. "You're right, I am not your son. How can I when you neglected me ever since I would walk and eat on my own, but I must thank you. I am not your son and never was your son, but I will still destroy this planet civilization. The history of this world won't be even in the winds," Naruto said madly. He rushed in for a quick kill, however was forced to dodge an attack as Anbu arrived along with other ninjas. Satel, seeing this, activated her saber staff. Naruto, however, put away his lightsaber and pulled out 2 tonfa and ignited them. These were tonfa sabers, very dangerous weapons in the hands of someone trained to use it. Smirking, he rushed forward into the group of Anbu protecting Kushina. Satel meanwhile engaged the ninjas that rushed at her. Several of the ninjas launched fire-based attacks or earth-based, but Naruto used his sabers to cut through them. He used the force to send back all wind-based and water-based attack. Seeing that their attacks wouldn't work, they decided to use hand-to-hand or they brought out their weapons, a foolish mistake. "Is that all you got?" Naruto said as he spun the tonfas in his hands to cut down the shurikens and kunes. He then ducked to dodge an incoming sword strike and quickly maneuvered one of the tonfa to cut down his would-be killer. Seeing that one-on-one wasn't going to work, they charged at him. Seeing this, Naruto smirked and waited for them to get closer, and when they were close enough he jumped into the air and descended with his tonfa's sabers spinning wildly. Looks like the Anbu aren't that much of a challenge, Naruto said as he turned around but quickly brought up his tonfas to block the golden chains. Impressive, your golden chains can even withstand lightsabers, but Naruto said as he struck hard at the chains, breaking them. They are still no match. He finished as he went on the offenses. From the corner of his eyes he could see Satel cutting down her enemies with her saber staff. He chuckled inside his head, she was a master at that and could take on anyone with her saber staff. Looks like your forces are losing, I am very disappointed, Naruto said as he continued break all the chains that Kushina was creating. Once in close range, he unleashed a ball of condensed lighting. Kushina did not see that attack approaching and thus was hit right in the chest. All her chains disappeared as she fell down to her knees. Naruto slowly walked up to her. How does it feel? The pain, knowing that your son is dead, the anger knowing you couldn't avenge him. Or the suffering, knowing you failed them. Naruto said as he raised his saber to strike her down, and just as he was bring it down, a yellow flash appeared in front of him and threw his tonfa saber in his right hand away. You have lost, Minato said, however Naruto just smirked. Oh, have I? Naruto said, confusing Minato. However, just then, Minato heard a humming sound coming from Naruto's right hand. Looking down, and he could see the same type saber coming out of his wrist. Following the saber, his eyes widened in horror as he let Naruto go, who jumped back to gain some distance. Minato however held Kushina as life faded away from her eyes. Would you look at that, looks like this wrist saber did come in handy, Naruto said, pulling down his sleeve, showing that the lightsaber was attached to his wrist. Deactivating it, he used the force to bring the tonfa to his hand. He watched in utter joy as he watched his father break down. Walking up to him, he put away his tonfas and pulled out his main saber. Igniting the saber, producing a humming sound, the saber extended to its full length. The lightsaber was white, but unlike most sabers, the blade of this one was nearly flat, thin and curved. The core of the saber was pure white, while the edges of it were black due to its surrounding light and color. He had found the dark saber when he was attacked by a group of Mandalorians, however he took about that saber and made a new one by learning the inner workings of the dark saber, and thus he had made a light saber. He raised his saber as if he was going to perform an execution, which he was. Any last words? Naruto asked as he looked at his broken father. It seemed like the death of his family really broke him. Minato looked up at Naruto with eyes filled with tears and a hate-filled glare. Go to hell, Minato said. No thanks, Naruto said as he brought down his saber and severed the man's hand from his body. Seeing that his family was dead, he turned to Satel. Are you done? He asked as she started to walk up to him, but she quickly spun her saber and impaled an attacker that tried to attack her from behind. Now I am, she answered. Good, now let our forces take care of the rest, Naruto said as he looked up to see 4 star destroyers descend down while firing their cannons. Starfighters entered the skies and started shooting at all the buildings. Transports were landing and bringing droids and soldiers and Konoha. It was on fire, a fitting conclusion for the country known as Land of Fire. About time you got here, Naruto said as he turned around to find Hinata descending down with the aid of her jetpack. Sorry, but the Hyugas held me up for a while, but don't worry, they are all dead, Hinata responded. Naruto nodded. Now then, I just have to do one last thing, Naruto said as he turned around and looked at the Hokage monument. He stretched out his right hand and clutched it. Then he swiped it across the monument, casing the whole monument to be destroyed as someone slapped it. Now that's done, let the droids and clones take care of the rest. With that said, all 3 of them started walk through the burning village as soldiers and droids looted and killed all. As they walked, they sucked the life force of everyone of the Leaf Village. As they boarded a shuttle and headed to board their flagship, you could see the entire planet was littered with fires and smoke. The Shinobi system would be no more from this day onwards. Sir, the planet has been purged, an officer reported to Naruto as he viewed his home planet from space. He felt no remorse for his family or the Shinobi way. Good, what of the Force-sensitive being you captured? Naruto asked. We were able to find her, however she was on the verge of death due to the Akatsuki that extracted her tailed beast at one of their hideouts. Thankfully we were able to save her, she should be waking up any second, the officer reported as he looked down at the datapad. Good, oh, and base Delta Zero is a go, you may start when all ships are ready, Naruto ordered as he started heading to the medical bay. Base Delta Zero, a naval code that is used to complete surface destruction of a planetary target, eliminating all life, industry, and natural resources on the surface. His planet would be nothing more than a wasteland. At the medical bay. In the medical bay, a female floated in one of the many Bacta tanks and it was slowly healing her. She had spiky mint green hair and she was tan-skinned. Her eyes slowly started to open, her eyes were the color of orange. Where am I? She thought. Last she remembered, the Akatsuki showed up at Taki and demanded they hand her over. She was not going to give up with a fight, however her village thought otherwise. She felt so betrayed that they had sold her out to the enemy. She was sure that she had gained their respect and trust, but in the end she was betrayed. During her final stand she felt all the pent-up emotions running through her and felt herself tapping into a very dark power, no that of a tailed beast, but some far more powerful, however before she could use it, she was subdued by them and was having her tailed beast extracted and then everything went dark. So, you awake? She heard a voice. Looking up she saw a boy, about her age, standing before her in what seemed to be armor of some type. How is she doing? The boy asked some kind of strange machine. She has stabilized and has all healed up. The machine replied. Good, get her out that tank then. Naruto ordered and she felt a strange liquid in the tank starting to leave the tank. Once the liquid was gone, the tank lowered down, allowing her to walk out. Where are I and who are you? She asked Naruto. You are on board my ship and I am Naruto. Naruto answered her question. She looked confused. Ship? This didn't look like a ship. Who are you? Naruto asked her. My name is Fu. She answered truthfully. Tell me Fu, can you remember what happened? Naruto asked her. She started to go through her memories and recollect them, and her anger started to rise, along with her hate. They betrayed me, Fu said as she narrowed her eyes. Yes, she was betrayed and left to die. She wanted revenge, she wanted to kill those backstabbing bastards. She told him her story, everything. I see well Fu, I am sorry to say, but you can't have your revenge. Naruto stated. Fu looked up at him with rage. The hell I won't. Fu said as she grabbed his trough. Naruto however used the force to prevent his windpipe from being crushed. Fu, you can't have your revenge, because the elemental nations are no more. I have destroyed our planet. Naruto said with a straight face as if he didn't order the deaths of tens of thousands. Fu however was confused, planets. What the hell was this guy talking about? Seeing her confusing he sighed. Follow me. Naruto said as he threw her some cloths, which she grabbed and looked at them. What? Are you going to wear them or are you going to walk around the ship naked? Naruto asked her. Her eyes widened as she looked down, and she was indeed naked. Looking back at him, her face went complete red. You pervert. Her voice rang throughout the whole ship. Clones rushed to the medical bay to find their leader on the ground passed out with a large handprint on his face and a very embarrassed girl. One of the clones sighed and called it a false alarm and left the two to deal it out. A few minutes later. So that's the short story for Naruto said as he gazed out viewport of his ship towards his home planet, which was being based Delta Zero to hell, with Fu by his side looking odd at everything she saw. All of this was new to her, spaceships, other worlds, aliens, and space travel. I guess you're going to kill me then. Fu said with a sigh. If she learned anything from Naruto's story, it was that all those that belonged to his homeworld, save him, Satel and Hinata, were put to death. Why would I do that? I wouldn't have ordered my men to take all four sensitive beings if I just wanted to kill them. Naruto said. Wait, I am not force sensitive she said as her eyes slowly start to widen. Naruto have given her the rundown on what the force was. Was it the force she tapped into back then? I take it that you have realized that you have a strong connection to the force, the dark side of it is. Naruto said. Then what are you going to do with me? She asked him. If she wasn't going to be killed then what was going to become of her? You can stay here and train in the ways of the Sith, the true way of the Sith. Peace is a lie, there is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The force shall free me. That is Sith code, however over time, may Siths have ignored that code and only used it to prove a point. Only a few Siths like Darth Raven and Darth Bane. The Sith take what they want and kill the rest and make use of things to their fullest. That much is true, however even I know that we Siths can become something far more than just killers and takers. So I chose to kill those who deserve it or those who have wronged me. There will be no mercy for them. My empire won't take slaves, but rather kill all those who defy my rule, but it is also our job to defend the weak. I shall create the first Sith empire that delivers justice where it is needed. It shall be peaceful, yes, but it shall also be brutal to those to defy it. So, will you join me? Naruto said as he held out his hand. Fu looked at his hand and thought about her life. It was a terrible life she had led up until this point. Always being mocked, downplayed and now betrayed. She wanted a place where she belonged, a place that didn't mock her or betray her, and Naruto was offering that. Nodding to herself, she lifted her hand and grabbed his hand. I will join you. She said. Naruto smiled. She was going to be a fine Sith like him and Satel. Will you look at that, we just get here and he's already bagged another girl. Satel said as she walked in with Hinata. Well, he is pretty sexy, I don't blame her. Hinata responded as she took off her helmet. Naruto grunted while Fuse had a deep blush on her face. She tried to protest, but Hinata and Satel just started to drag her away. Hey. Where are you taking me? Fuse screamed. Don't worry, we are just going to have a girls' talk. Satel said as Hinata nodded. Naruto just watched on as they left the bridge. Permission to speak, sir? A clone asked. Permission granted. Naruto answered. What the hell just happened? The clone asked. Naruto sighed and turned around and looked out the viewport. I don't know, I just don't know. Naruto answered truthfully. Set a course to the edge of our galaxy, it will take 2 years till we reach that point, so get everything ready. Make sure all cryosleep chambers are ready, because when we are going to travel to another galaxy, it's going to take a long time to reach there, we don't want to look like old men now, do we? Naruto said as everyone chuckled. Cryosleep was something along the lines of carbon freezing, without the whole freezing you. He had each ship equipped with thousands of these chambers to preserve their bodies as the ships traveled the vast nothingness between 2 galaxies. The ships during that time would be operated by droids, since droids didn't need food or sleep, they could always recharge. The droids would awaken everyone when they had reached a new galaxy. Something like this had never been attempted before because no one had ever tried it. This galaxy was already big enough, so why should they leave and risk their lives for a new galaxy? Naruto, however, was willing to take that risk. This galaxy has already seen too much bloodshed and war. There was no point in establishing a Sith empire if it was going to just be destroyed like all those before them, besides, he loved a good adventure. Sir, all ships are ready to make the jump. An officer reported. Good, we may jump. Naruto ordered and just like that, the stars became white lights as they entered the hyperspace. It would take them 2 years to reach the edge of their galaxy and from there who knows how long to reach the nearest galaxy. I better go check on those 3, Naruto thought before heading out to find the 3. 2 years later. At the very edge of the galaxy, there was nothing. On one side you could see stars in the distance and on the other you could see nothing but emptiness. You could have ever seen distant galaxies far away. Just then 2 whole fleets dropped out of hyperspace. Sir, we have reached the edge. An officer reported. Good, patch me though to all ships. Naruto ordered and soon he was patched though to every ship. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the edge of our known galaxy and now we are about to embark on a road untraveled. I do not know how long it will take for you to reach a new galaxy, however what I do know is that we will awaken once we have reached our destination. We shall establish the greatest empire this new galaxy will have ever seen. At your chambers, we leave the world we know soon. Naruto ordered. A few minutes later droids walked in as the clones started to head for the chambers. The droids would take over until they were awakened once more. You girls ready? Naruto asked the 3 girls. Of course we are, but before we go, Hinata said as she kissed him on the lips. No fair. I wanted to go first. Satel said as she kissed him too before walking away with Hinata. Well, I guess you should get go. He was cut off when Fu kissed him as well, before she ran off with a blush. Naruto just stood there and shook. Did not see that coming. He thought as he made his way to one of the many chambers. Entering it he sighed. Who knows how long they will stay asleep for, oh well, at least he could catch up on sleep for the next 100 years or so. I guess this is the part where I say sweet dreams. He thought as he chuckled. The droid got him all set up and started to close the chamber. Good luck, sir. The droid said. Naruto started to close eyes, but before he did he muttered one last thing. There's no such thing as luck. He muttered as his eyes closed, along with the chamber. The droid walked away and took his place on the command computer for this section of the cryosleep chambers. If one tried to count the numbers of chambers, it would take them years, for there were thousands of them, and this was just one ship. A new galaxy was their target. Even Naruto heard many different voices around him. He knew what this was. This was the dark side of the Force, and it was trying to control him. That was the flaw of all Siths, the dark side consumed them each time, leading to their downfall and terrible wars and corrupt empires. He would prevail where others have failed, after all, he has chakra to deter the effects of the Force. That was one of the reasons why he wanted eliminating his homeworld for good. With chakra they could deter the effects of the dark side, making dark GDs that weren't influenced or controlled by the Force. A frightening thought for the galaxy. No, I will not give in, I might have a connection to the Force, but you have no control over me or comrades. Naruto responded. He had put seals on every Sith warrior his ranks that coated them with a layer of chakra, this protected them from being influenced by the dark temptations of the dark side. You will give in. He heard the voices, this time they were angry. He could feel the dark side trying to pull him back, but it was failing. No, I will not, and once I and my comrades leave, you will never be able to control us. Naruto said calmly. It was true, the force was only existed in their galaxy, if they were to leave it, then neither sides of the force could influence. He and his comrades would still be able to use the force and even their children, but they would lose the ability to see the visions that the force shows. The trade-off he was willing to make, since half the time the force is just trolling when it sends those visions to people. New. He heard the voices as they started to fade. My emotions are my own. I and my followers will be the first true Siths. We will create an empire of peace and justice, not of slavery and oppression, but we shall punish those who deserve our wrath. Naruto said loudly as the dark side force tried to pull him back. I will not be a Sithari, no, that prophecy has only led to the downfall of many Sith rulers. I shall be emperor and I shall lead all. Naruto yelled. He could hear it, the dark side was fading away. And with this, my chains are broken. Naruto said. He was now free from both sides of the force. This was true freedom. No more being controlled or trolled by the force. He then smiled as he closed his eyes. Now was the time for a true Sith empire to be born, away from evils of the dark side. Sleep chamber. Naruto slowly opened his eyes as he yawned. The chamber slowly opened and on the other side was a droid. Good morning, sir. The droid spoke as Naruto exited the chamber and stretched his limbs. Good to be awake. Naruto said as his stomach grumbled. The droid handed him some rations to eat. Tell me, how long was I asleep for? Naruto asked the droid that handed him a datapad. According to standard space-time, about 600 years. The droid said, causing Naruto to cough. 600 years? Naruto said calmly. He should have expected this, but 600 years? That's a lot of time. Come to think of it, were these rations even okay to eat? The droid noticed that his master had stopped eating. Sir, those rations are just fine to eat, those can last for thousands of years. The droid stated. Naruto thanked the droid and started to eat again. Find the nearest habitable planet and plot out a course to reach it, also alert all the other droids to get everyone out of these chambers. Naruto ordered as he started to make his way out. Roger, roger. The droid said as he rushed to get everyone back up, while Naruto started to check on everything via the datapad. Everything seems to be working just fine, and it seems like the hyperdrive is working just fine on the Star Forge. That's good, we won't need to tow the damn thing around. Naruto thought. Before he had went to sleep, he had ordered several modifications to be carried out by the droids that also included improved hyperdrives that allowed them to make out paths to systems quicker. He then felt the ship shake a little. That was fast, it seems like those upgrades sure are coming in handy. He thought as he looked outside the ship to see the whole fleet and the 2DN fleet, along with the Star Forge in hyperspace. Seeing that no one was awake yet, he sighed. Yes, I should get my fighter ready. I want to see what this first planet has to offer. He said to himself. If he was lucky, he may encounter other beings, even humans. 20 minutes later. The fleets dropped out of light speed, and right in front of them was a blue and green planet. Naruto looked at the planet. Oh yes, there was bound to be life in it. Looking around, he saw some clones were already working, some were still getting used to waking up after 600 years, and his girls were included in that group. Damn, they hit hard. He thought as he rubbed his head. He had tried to wake them up, on to receive a punch in the face. I'll be leave for that planet, have the fleets orbit that planet, and start sending out probe droids to scout out other planets nearby. Naruto ordered as he made his way down to the hangar bay. Once he reached the hangar bay, he boarded the Victory second-class frigate. This was a modified version of the original. It was faster, lighter and had cloaking device. On board the vessel were 5 other Sith warriors. As he entered, all of them got on one knee and bowed to him. General Naruto. They all spoke in union as they bowed their heads. But easy, you 5 will be my escort down on that planet. We don't know much about, so we will have to be cautious. Naruto explained. He could handle himself, but he would rather not take that chance. The Sith warriors nodded. They were all trained by him, as such they were his guards. Fu and Satel had their own Sith warrior guards. Hinata, however, opted to have an elite guard of soldiers that she handpicked and trained. Good, now then let us depart. Naruto said as he turned around and ordered the droid pilot to take them down. A few minutes later. I have to say, I am impressed by the size of the city for such a primitive planet. Naruto said as he stood on the rooftops of the many buildings in the massive city, which was called the capital from what his guards had found out. They had landed in a forest nearby and had kept the ship cloaked the whole time. He had sent out his guards to find any and all information they could regarding this world, if not, at least information regarding the city. Surprisingly, this planet was host to humans, but lacked the force or chakra, which he thanked. Maybe this planet might become the capital for my empire, however this place reeks of corruption and filth. He thought. He used his force abilities to sense the people around him and frowned at much the people here were suffering. If this planet was to become his capital, then he would have to stamp out this corruption and filth. He was about to the massive castle in the center of the city, but he stopped hearing a roar in a nearby park, and he smirked. Looks like I can have some fun, he thought as he headed to fight the beast that created that roar. At the park a few minutes later. She was going to die, she knew it. The Imperial army known as Hekatonkyries was going to eat her alive as soon as she was shot by that girl named Seryu. She closed her eyes and waited for death, but it never came. Slowly opening her eyes, she looked at the beast that had stopped and was shaking in fear. "Well now, didn't your owner ever tell you not to attack others?" Naruto said as he dropped down from the tower. The Imperial soldiers tensed up and were ready to attack any second. "Who the hell are you?" Seryu asked as Naruto looked at her. This man, he must have done something to stop her Imperial arm. "Who am I?" "Well, I am a Sith," he answered, confusing everyone. What the hell was a Sith? The Imperial soldiers however took their chance and charged at him. "Die!" One of the soldiers cried out, however all of a sudden he stopped, all of them stopped. They were being shocked and started to float. What the hell? Is he using an Imperial arm? Seryu thought. Now, it's not nice to attack a lone man," Naruto said, his mask hiding a smirk. He turned towards the soldiers. "Now then die," he said as he snapped their necks and let them fall, dead. The remaining 3 females and monster were shocked at how easily he had killed 12 soldiers without even moving to attack. "Now then," he said as she turned around, lighting dancing in his hands. "Let's test your pain tolerance," he yelled as he unleashed force lighting at the beast. The beast cried out in pain as lighting entered its body. "Impressive, looks like I will have to increase the voltage," he said as he put more power into his lighting, causing the beast even more pain, but then the beast stopped. Seeing this, Naruto stopped his attack. Seems like your pain tolerance was high, but not good enough," Naruto stated. He had fried the beast core and had killed it. Turning to the purple-haired girl, he noticed that she had a bullet wound in her back. "That's a nasty wound you got there, let me patch it up," Naruto said as he approached the girl as his hand started to glow blue. Medical ninjutsu was one of the things he had learned. Putting his hand behind her back, he pulled the bullet out and healed her wound. "Thank you," the girl said as she coughed. "Easy there, you might be healed, but you are too tired to move. Your friend is in no shape to move around as well," Naruto said, point to the pink-haired girl. Just then 5 figures dropped from nearby roofs. "General Naruto, we have collected all data and information regarding this world, orders?" one of the Sith warriors asked as he kneeled. "Good, for now we will help these 2 get back to their home," Naruto said, earning nods from his guards. Using the force, they lifted the 2 girls up and started to follow their general. "Hey, wait. Where are you taking us?" the pink-haired girl asked. At first she thought he was one of the Empire's general, but she ruled that out when he had killed the Empire's soldier and killed an Imperial arm with ease too. "Oh, don't worry, I am taking you 2 back to your home. There's no point in hiding where you live. I can read your minds quite easily," he answered. The 2 girls tensed. He could read minds too. Did he have an Imperial arm like that headhunter guy? After traveling through the forest for what seemed like hours, they arrived at their destination, fortress, built right underneath a cliff. Naruto took a step forward, but he was leaned his head back as a sword passed by him. His guards activated their sabers and blocked 2 more sword strikes. Looking at their attackers, he found a man in some kind of suit of armor, an average-looking boy with brown hair and a girl with black hair and red eyes. Behind them were 2 more attackers, a white-haired female and a green-haired boy. "Is this how you treat those who have saved the lives of your comrades?" Naruto said as he activated his tonfa sabers, which hummed. The group of tensed. They had never seen swords like those. "Who are you?" the wild-haired female asked. "I'll tell you what I told that soldier, I am a Sith," Naruto answered. He noticed how that sword and spear didn't break when his Sith warriors blocked those attacks. "What is your name?" she asked him dangerously. One of the Sith warriors grew angry at that. "Watch how you talk to our general," the Sith warrior yelled. Naruto sighed. The dark side of the force might not influence them or take them over, they were all still hot-headed. "Calm down," Naruto ordered his guard with seriousness. "Forgive me, General," the warrior said as he bowed. "You are forgiven, but please try to keep your cool. Or else you will be sent back to train with Hinata," Naruto said. The Sith warrior gulped. Hinata might not be strong with the force, but she sure is a slave driver when it comes to training. "Now then, my name is Naruto, Sith warrior of the new Sith Empire. I and guards here are from a different galaxy. We had just reached your galaxy not too long ago, and your planet was the first who picked up, but it seems like this planet is filled with corrupt leaders," Naruto said as he introduced himself. His group of attackers couldn't believe what this man was saying. From a different world, and he was here to establish his own empire. "Sorry, but we cannot let you establish your empire on our world," The white-haired spoke. Naruto however narrowed his eyes at her before he started to chuckle, but his chuckling became full-blown laughter. "What's so funny?" the brown-haired boy asked. Naruto's laugh died down as he looked at the boy. "The fact that I can't establish my empire on this world, sorry, but I wasn't asking for your permission. I can feel how the people of this world are suffering, but my empire shall free them of that suffering," Naruto proclaimed. It was true that he was going to help these people. He had long ago learned that when you help people, they tend to listen to you and become your allies and supporters. "How would you do that? The empire on this world is vast and powerful. Your forces would." The boy didn't get to finish when Naruto spoke. "Would destroy this empire within days. I don't think you know the size or power of my military. Where I come from, empires have risen and fallen no time for thousands of years. They stretched from one star system to another. This small empire that is your enemy wouldn't even be worth sacking. My forces will be ready within a month's time, and within a month, this empire will fall," he said as he started to walk away with his Sith warriors following away as his laughter echoed through the forest. "Something tells me that something big is about to happen," the black-haired girl thought as he held her sword tightly. 1 week later. "What's this? It seems like the empire is organizing a tournament, perhaps I should take part in it," Naruto said to himself. "But General, you are far stronger than anyone on this world, you shouldn't waste time on some small tournament," one of his Sith guards stated. "I know that, I just want to see what this world has to offer in terms of warriors. I have a new task for you. Find these imperial arms that I have been hearing about. Find as many of them as you can," Naruto ordered. "Yes, my lord," the Sith warriors replied as they bowed before they scattered to complete their new mission. Naruto meanwhile took off his armor and mask, but kept his sabers. "It's time to see what this world has to offer," he said with a smirk. It would take a while for his forces to mobilize, even though he himself would be enough. He needed to stage a display of military might, and what better way than to show the two fleets. At the tournament a few moments later. The audience was cheering as fighters dueled for the prize money offered, but there was one person bored out of her mind. She had long light blue and blue eyes to go along with. Her skin was porcelain and she had a tattoo on her chest. Her clothing consisted of a general's apparel with long sleeves, a blue scarf and high-heeled boots. This was Esdeath, one of the mightiest generals and fighters in the empire. Now you may ask yourself, what is the mightiest general doing all the way back here in the capital? Well, you could say she was on a mission to find a man that she could love, and thus this tournament was being held. Though none of the fighters had any potential she was looking for, and they were not even young. Now for the final match, on the right we have Tatsumi and on the left we have Naruto. Her subordinate, Wave, spoke. He backed away from the ring to let the two fighters fight it out for the prize money. "I must say, all the other fighters were quite easy to defeat. I wonder if you're good," Naruto spoke as he brought out his tonfa sabers and activated them. Their twin humming sound entrenched the audience in their beauty. "Those weapons, they are the same ones that masked guy had. Could this guy be him?" Tatsumi thought as he pulled out his sword. Both of them looked at each other, however Tatsumi was the first to move as he charged forward in an attempt to defeat his enemy in a single blow, however Naruto countered by blocking which one of his sabers. "You're gonna have to try better than that," Naruto said with an eye smile that pissed Tatsumi off. He ducked down and attempted to swipe Naruto's leg, but failed as Naruto jumped over him and went in for the strike, but Tatsumi dodged by an inch of his life. "Oh, seems like you're a fast one," Naruto said as he started to spin his tonfa sabers in his hand rapidly before he threw one of them towards Tatsumi with great speed. Tatsumi tried to block the strange weapon with his sword, but it was no use as the saber just melted the sword. With his sword useless, he tried to grab Naruto's saber, but Naruto did not allow that to happen as he used the force to call it back into his hand. A bit surprised, Naruto used that moment to rush him and put both of his sabers next to Tatsumi's neck. "You're good but not good enough, surrender," Naruto spoke. Tatsumi how was shaking like a leaf. The heat these weapons were giving off was intense. I surrender," he said with a sigh. There goes his plan to win the money for his village. Naruto however just smiled. This was one of his true smiles. Esdeath however looked at him, and when he smiled, "Yes, he's the one," she muttered as she got up from her seat. "That was a good match, you are by far better than most of the fighters here, just be sure not to die in the night raid," Naruto said, though the last part was a whisper. Tatsumi froze up, so he was that man, he knew his face and their hideout, and should he kill him? No, he did save his comrades' lives. "Now get going," Naruto said as he pointed towards Esdeath who was coming their way. Seeing this, Tatsumi quickly exited the stadium, he didn't want to die today. "So, that's the infamous General Esdeath, however something is not right here. Is she under the influence of something? It almost feels like she is being controlled by the dark side, but it's not the force, something else," he thought as he started to delve deeper into her emotions. I see, she believes that only the strong should rule and the weak should die, however those beliefs of her they have been amplified by something else. I do sense something strange about her blood. Well, it looks like I'll have to dive into her mind. Naruto thought. This was one of the newer force powers he had developed. In the past, a few Siths used Sith alchemy to dive into someone's kind. Intrigued by such a concept, he created a variation of the same power, only this time by using the force only. You did however need to have a very, very high midichlorian count to even attempt to use such abilities. Now then, let's see what's causing you to be so violent. Naruto thought as he divided into her mind. Inside Esdeith's mind. How long has she been here for? Too long for her to remember. She was foolish to drink the demon's extract. Thinking she could control it, but in the end, the extract was what controlled her. For years she had to watch as the extract amplified her beliefs and caused her to be more sadistic. Her belief was only mean to stay on the battlefield, not in everyday life. She watched helplessly as she killed men, women and children all innocent. I just want to die. She thought as she hugged her knees. Her body had become her own prison. Oh? What's this? She heard. Looking up she spotted a blonde-haired man, with blue eyes that held a bit of yellow in them. How was this possible? How can someone enter her mind? It seems like this thing imprisoned you here, did it not? The man asked. She couldn't find the voice to say anything so she just nodded. I see, my name is Naruto and I am going to free you. The man now known as Naruto said. Wait, why do you want to save me? She asked. Why would this person want to save her? Hell, why would anyone try to save her? Granted that everything she had done was done out of her will, but rather the extract. Did she even deserve to be saved? Why you ask? Well, it's quite simple really, you need help. Naruto said bluntly, shocking her. But I am a killer. I have killed so many innocent that I don't even know the number anymore, so why? She asked as she lowered her head. True, but you didn't want to do it, now did you? You are being controlled by this thing, and compared to me, you are pretty innocent. You were forced to kill people, but I killed my own people, though I suppose the dark side was controlling me somewhat, but it doesn't matter. What's done is done, we can't change that, but we can change the future, besides it's our job to chance the future for our loved ones. Naruto said with a smile. He might be a Sith, but he knows when to be brutal and when to be kind. But I have no one would love a monster like me, the people fear me and my subordinates also fear me. They don't fight with me out of love and admiration, but rather with fear of death. So what's the point in me even being alive, she said. Naruto gritted his teeth, this reminded him so much of his childhood, but at least he had Hinata and Satel, but Esdeith. All she had was her father, her mother had died, but her father was a cold man to her. Do not say that. If you want someone who loves you then I will be that someone. If you need a friend, then I will be that friend. Naruto said as started to charge condense a ball of force lighting. If you need a shoulder to cry on, then I will be that shoulder. You are never alone in your struggles, always remember. Naruto said. Esdeith was shocked by his proclamation. Now tell me Esdeith, do you want to life? Do you want to be free? Naruto asked as tears started to form in her eyes. Yes, she muttered. I can't hear you. Naruto said as he put more power in his attack. Yes. She screamed. Naruto smirked. Then let's set you free. He said as he used the force and pushed the condensed ball of power past Esdeith and into the statue of a giant danger beast. The statue started to collapse and break apart, however dark energy started to leak forward and attempted to grab Esdeith, but Naruto held the energy back. You will submit. Naruto shouted as he started to condense the dark energy into a ball. I'll use some Sith alchemy mixed in with the art of sealing and pacify the energy. Naruto thought as he started to chant some old Sith magic and then did a one-hand seal. In the hand he did the one-handed seal, a new condensed ball of energy was formed, but this one was blue and had a yellow core to it. Now then, be pacified. Naruto yelled as he threw the ball of energy, which consumed the dark energy. There was a bright light before it faded. Esdeith looked at her savior and was shocked to see that he had just conquered the extract and even pacified it. This man, he was truly strong. Now then Esdeith, you are free, your life is yours now, but if you feel like you don't fit in, then you can join me. Naruto said with a smile as she blushed. Her heart started to beat faster and faster. Is this love? She thought as she put her hands over her heart. Now then, it seems like my job here is done, I'll see you on the outside. Naruto said as he started to fade away. She looked at his fading form and smiled. Thank you Naruto, she thought. Outside. Esdeith stumbled as she felt her legs give way, but recovered soon after. She looked forward and indeed Naruto was there, standing there with a smile. She blushed. He was pretty handsome before, but in the sunlight he was pretty sexy. He brought his hand towards her. So, Esdeith, would you like to join me? To create a new world where people can live with fear, a world where you can protect the weak. What do you say? Naruto asked her. The people around them were in complete shock. This man was asking Esdeath to betray the Empire. Even Esdeath's subordinates were shocked and were ready to move for the attack at any moment. She was deep in thought. She had shed blood of the innocent, she was at fault, but that man the minister. He knew that she would drink the extract, he tricked her. She wanted to revenge and Naruto knew it. He wasn't a fool. Having Esdeath as an ally would be quite helpful, and from what he knew a revolution was going to happen. He would allow this revolt to happen and in the end he would come down as a hero and save these people while earning their trust and support. It was an underhanded method, but he was a Sith and sometimes it was better to wait and let your enemies kill each other and strike them both down in the final hour. Esdeath started to walk up slowly and brought up her hand and put it in his. I will join. Esdeath answered, shocking all. Naruto smiled. Good. Now then, hold on tight. Naruto said as he picked her up bridal style, making her blush even more and bent his knees. Putting as much force as he could in his legs, he launched off with great speed into the sky. The people's jaws were hanging, could people even jump that high? They didn't notice a large shadow covering almost the whole city, but when they did, their minds were blown away. High in the sky was Naruto's flagship, the Executor. People were indeed shocked or freaking out. But Tatsumi and the others. What the hell is that thing? Tatsumi yelled. He, along with Lubbock and Leon, had made it back to base. They were one member short due to Bullet being killed during a mission. Tatsumi was still depressed about his friend's death and was visiting their graves, but as he was looking at the capital in the distance, he spotted a giant flying ship descend from the clouds above. The ship was massive in size and was easily twice the size of the capital city. The rest of the night raid group ran out when he had yelled and were shocked to see the massive vessel. Is it Danger Beast? Mine asked. I don't think so, if it was, we would be able to feel it. Nagenda answered. But whose ship or whatever it is belongs to? Lubbock asked. It wouldn't be good to know if it was an Empire's ship. I think it's that man's ship. Shield guessed. The man did say he was from a different world. Akame stayed silent. That ship might prove difficult, no, impossible to take down with her sword. If that wasn't enough 10 star destroyers descended down as well and made floated in a ring formation around the capital. They have more. How many ships does that guy have? Leon asked in utter disbelief, just what kind of firepower was that guy packing? After a few minutes, the largest of the ships started to ascend back into the clouds and beyond them, but the smaller ship stayed. With Naruto. Sorry about that, it was the quickest and the easiest way to get on this ship. Anyways, follow me. I'll get you living red in no time. Naruto said as he started to lead Esdeath through the ship. The ship was just as massive on the inside as it was on the outside and she was just left stunned. She saw thousands of soldiers, all in white armor and strange machines. Naruto, why did you move the ship out of orbit? She heard a voice behind her. Turning around she came face to face with a girl that seemed blind. Oh, Hinata, it seems like you are all rested up, not like 600-year nap was enough already. Naruto said as he muttered the last part. What was that? Hinata asked. She might love him, but she will let him know who runs the relationship on this or any ship or even planet. Nothing dear. Naruto refuted, Sith or no Sith, he did not want to get on any of his girl's bad side. Hinata took notice of Esdeath and looked at her for a while. Esdeath started to feel very uncomfortable at her gaze. Hinata then smirked and looked at Naruto. Another one? She asked him. Naruto just sighed. It's not my fault that ladies fall to my good looks and charms. Naruto said, but there was some hidden pride in there. Hinata wanted to say no to that, but she really couldn't. Well, she's going to need training. What training do you think will suit her? Hinata asked. Wait, I am already well trained. Esdeath interjected. True, but we are talking about a different type of training. Hinata told her. Esdeath nodded, some new training wouldn't hurt. Esdeath, I am a Sith and Hinata is a bounty hunter, well, more like our special operations leader. We Sith use the Force, and we are able to use that because of an organism called midichlorian, however not everyone has a high enough count of midichlorian to use the Force and in your world's, or galaxy's case, it has no Force at all, so no one of this world can be Force sensitive. However our research teams have been working to find a way to give people midichlorians. One of the ways we came up was via transfer, which cells already possessing midichlorians, but the method is untested. If you're up for it, we can give you midichlorians via my blood, it would be the first test of its kind, but if it is successful, then we can create more Force users. It's up to you. Naruto explained to her. She understood a bit of what Naruto was saying, but when he said that it would be his blood well she started to daydream. Ah, you okay? Naruto asked her as he waved his hand in front of her. Hinata just chuckled. She sure has fallen for you, I don't know how you made her fall for you so fast. Hinata giggled as she gave him a kiss before walking away. Well then, follow me to the medical bay. Naruto said as he led her to the medical bay. In just a month, this planet would fall into his control because unlike Sidious, he did not betray his allies and comrades or oppress. His name, along with his loved ones, would go down in history for eons to come. What? Minister Honest yelled as he stared down a soldier. The soldier was shaking like a leaf. Sir, General Esdeath has defected and joined the unknown forces. The soldier repeated as he bowed his head. 10 days ago, Esdeath was taken away by some blonde man. At first they thought he had captured her, but it was later revealed that she had defected and betrayed them. Even the Yagers had gone missing, with the expectation of Dr. Stylish and Seryu, who refused to betray the Empire. This was bad. They had just lost a very powerful general, and now they had a few good soldiers and the commander-in-chief, but still. The rebels were going to attack soon, the minister knew it. Night Raid had been carrying out more and more assassinations, and with no one to stop them, they were left unopposed. However, they did notice that Night Raid's trademark sword user was missing. Could she have defected as well? Could the extract that Esdeath drank a few years back was beaten by her? The minister thought. There was going to be an uprising soon and he knew it. Then there were those flying ships, they were still staying in their formation and had the whole city surrounded, but they had yet to attack or anything. As he was thinking, a soldier rushed him. Your Majesty, Dr. Stylish is nowhere to be found. We believe he went after Night Raid's hidden base, but we are not sure. The soldier said. Just then another soldier rushed in. Oh, one of the flying ships is starting to move, but it's heading away from the city. The soldier said in fright. It was a sight to see as the Star Destroyer moved away from the city. He would have ordered some soldiers to follow it, but he didn't want to provoke the flying ship. On board the destroyer Star a few minutes ago. Sir, our visual scanners are picking up a large beast of some kind nearby. Orders. An officer reported asked the captain of the ship. Move to intercept, we cannot risk the chance for it to attack one of our ships. The captain ordered, though in all of their minds, they knew nothing could harm the ships. These star destroyers were far more powerful and had better clones as their crews, one of them being the 501st, one of the few clone divisions that had survived the fall of the Grand Republic. Naruto had opted to use clones rather than recruits, since clones could be trained from even before birth, and they could be specialized to carry out certain tasks. Same went from the droids. Thanks to the Star Forge, they were able to mass-produce the commando droids of the Confederacy and other expensive droids that were better than the standard droids. Enemy is in range, sir. One of the officers spoke up from his place. Fire when ready. The captain ordered. Taking aim, the lower batteries of the vessel unleashed burst of laser shots, striking the massive monster, and bring it down. Enemy eliminated, sir. One of the officers reported. Good, fall back into the same position with the rest of the ships, the captain ordered. Night Raid. Holy crap, did you guys see that? Asked a fearful Tatsumi. A few monuments ago, a man named Dr. Stylish had found their base and had launched an attack. They were able to fend off his men, but when he was cornered, he took some kind of drug that made him into a hybrid of a danger beast. At that moment, Night Raid began to have a hard time dealing with him, and not even moments later, one of the flying ships neared their location and unleashed a ruthless barrage of orange and red lights. That's what they thought they were. Those lights looked a lot like mine Imperial Arm, Pumpkin, but those looked a lot more powerful. Shield said as they all regrouped. What? No way, those lights were stronger than my Pumpkin. I bet I could blast one of those ships out of the sky. Mine refuted, she was very confident in her weapon. Hold on, mine, maybe Shield is right, those did look a lot powerful. They were able to take down Dr. Stylish. Tatsumi said. That might be true, but we could have won if Akame was here. Mine yelled. Everyone looked down at being reminded of Akame. She had left Night Raid 3 days, she had joined that man. 3 days ago, flashback. Night Raid was having a normal day. It was like that because they were ahead of Seclude, because they had no one to oppose them, therefore they didn't have much to do, and as such they were going to have a meeting right now. Now then, before we begin, the agenda started, but stopped at the sound of someone walking in. Everyone was now alert and ready to attack. No need to be violent. Naruto said as he walked in. Shield blushed at the unmasked Naruto. When he had saved her, he had his mask on and as such she couldn't see his face, but now that she did, he looked pretty handsome. The same thoughts went through Akame's head. Najenda however narrowed her one eye. How did he enter without Lubbock or Leon noticing? What do you want? She asked with a cold voice. Naruto just chuckled. It's nothing from you, but rather that girl. Naruto said pointing towards Akame. Who looked at him with her black face. And what do you want from me? Akame asked. Naruto chuckled again. You really do look like your sister, don't you? He asked. Akame's eyes widened before she brought out her sword and brought it to his neck. What do you want? She asked him again, this time angry on her face. Naruto just smirked. Your sister has joined my side, along with most of the Yagers. We both know what caused her to become so loyal to the Empire. You know it too. She was experimented on, given drugs. They even tortured her. You might not know this, but there are torture methods that break a person's mind down and then it is reconstructed with information added, brainwashing. However, no matter how much brainwashing is done, a copy of the user's mind is hidden deep inside their minds. How do you think she still remembers you? Naruto asked her. Akame's widened. She knew that her sister might have been tortured, but not drugged or experimented. Her hand started to shake as she sheathed her sword. Seeing this, Naruto continued. But that in mind, I had her treatment reversed. It was quite easy seeing how primitive the technology here is quite primitive. Anyways, I have an offer for you. I can allow you to see your sister, the one you knew, the one before the empire separated you two. However, you will have to join my side if you want to after seeing her, but know this. This empire will fall because of its crimes and neglecting its people. In its place a new empire shall form, a Sith empire, an empire that shall expand to the many planets in this galaxy. I am not so arrogant of the people's suffering. I invite all of you Night Raid members to join if you want. My forces are almost ready. Naruto said, inviting all members of Night Raid. As if the other nations, tribes and clans will never join you, they hate the empire of this world, they will hate the empire of your world. Negenda proclaimed. She saw Naruto smirked. That would be true, well if it was true. You see, I have been very busy. I have visited them all, and they have all agreed to join me, in fact they are all under my control now. These nations' combined forces are far larger than the empire. Naruto countered. He had indeed visited them all, the nations, tribes and clans, and he provided them with aid of all kind, from food to shelter. He had showed them the wonders of technology. He had stated that should they join, they will benefit from technology, industry. After they had all agreed, he had dissolved all the borders between these nations and made them into different sectors that were governed by the nation's governments, which would become local governments. Each sector would also have a clone and a droid garrison and a Sith warrior that commanded them. This Sith agent was not only the commander, he was also an agent that would report everything to Naruto and the other generals. All in all, the different sectors would be left to rule themselves independently, but they all answered to the emperor, which would be Naruto. What? Negenda yelled. If what Naruto said was true, then should the revolutionaries win, they would be surrounded by even a larger empire that had the advantage in every field. It doesn't matter if you join or not, you are not my target, however if you do attack my empire, then you will become one. Naruto stated. Night Raid was doing what was right, but should they attack his empire, then it would not hesitate to send his forces to eliminate them. Akane was really thinking hard. If what he was saying was true, then her sister was forced into becoming a blind slave to the empire. I want to see her. She answered. Everyone besides Naruto looked at her in shock. Akane, this could be a trap. Tatsumi yelled. Why would I need to trap you all? I have ships that can render entire planets uninhabitable, there is no reason for me to trap anybody. Naruto countered. Tatsumi paled. How much power did this guy command? Naruto reached for his pocket and pulled out a small disc-like device. He placed it on the ground and back away, and soon the device lit up. Ah, General, I have been expecting your transmission. A man said from the other side. Night Raid was awed at the sight of such technology. They had never seen a hologram before. Admiral, can you please get Kurama on the line? Naruto ordered the admiral. Of course, sir. The admiral answered as he nodded and pressed a few buttons and the transmission changed to some kind of machine. The machine turned around and noticed the transmission was on. Forgive me, General, I did not notice you there. The medical droid said. That is fine, can you get Kurama? He asked the droid. The droid shook his head. Negative, she has been placed in a Bacta tank not too long ago in order to heal her body. The droid said as it showed them Kurama suspended in a tank. I see, what's the status report on her health? Naruto asked. The droid picked up a data pad and started to go down the list. Her mental state of mind has been restored and all brainwashing methods have been removed from her mind, however she was also experimented. Her body was also suffering from a disease that was killing her slowly. We were able to neutralize it, however it left her body severely weakened and as such, she was placed in a Bacta tank to heal. She will be healed in about a day. The droid reported. Good, take care of her. Naruto said as the droid nodded and the transmission was cut off. He then used the force to call the device back to him, freaking everyone out, other than Shield that is. What was that? Tatsumi asked. He had never seen anyone just pull something back to them like that. That was the force. Naruto answered as he turned around and started to walk away. Wait. Akame said. Naruto stopped and looked back at her. He could tell that she was conflicted. On one side she could see her sister and not have to kill her and on the other, she would be betraying her friends. He could see that confusion on her face, so he decided to speak up. You won't be betraying your friends. Night Raid is not my enemy, but if they do attack my forces after I take over for no reason, then they will be. They are still your friends, it's just a matter of if they chose to fight my empire will your loyalty be truly tested. Naruto said. He was looking for allies and excellent warriors and leaders, to kill those kinds of people would be counterproductive. I'll join. Akame said, as she steeled her resolve. Everyone's, other than Shield's and Naruto's eyes widened. But Akame, this could be a trap like I said. Tatsumi again, Akame was one of their best fighters and assassin, they couldn't lose her. Tatsumi, if I join him, this current empire will fall faster, and your people will be saved and many more, but if I don't I might never know the truth. She said as she started to walk up to Naruto. 4 days from now, this empire will fall, and a new one will be forged. Naruto said as he turned around and walked out as Akame followed him. Flashback end. 1 more day if what he said was true, then tomorrow the empire will fall, Najenda thought. If she wasn't convinced before, she was now after seeing the might of just one of those flying ships. So this part ends here. Alright, that's it for today's video guys, let me know in the comments section how was the story, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in another video, bye bye.